Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my photo chats. So today I'm going to talk about Street Photography Magazine. So Bob Patterson runs that magazine, and he had me on about a year ago to do an interview for his podcast. And on June 23rd, he's going to have a feature story on me on the Rolleiflex and my Rolleiflex portraits. So this is the camera I shoot my Rolleiflex portraits with. I talked about the Rolleiflex or the Rolleicord, how it's a lot lighter. This one's definitely not a lightweight camera, but it's significantly lighter than a Hasselblad, and it's a 3.5f, and this is what I use for all of my street portraits. And it's one of those things where this camera and that look is what is easy to go up to people and say, hey, can I photograph you with this old camera? Hey, I'm making street portraits. May I photograph you with this? This is what sells it. I did a project during COVID where I went up to people and shot photographs and portraits with a 4x5 camera. And I would walk up with a 4x5 wooden camera and go, hey, I'm making portraits. Can I photograph you with this? And I always got a yes. One time I saw a guy inside of a motorcycle repair shop, and I said, hey, I left the camera in the car, jumped out of my car, and go, hey, can I take a portrait of you with this large format camera, but no visual aid? And he said, no, what? No. And I'm like, you know what? I missed my opportunity. I needed to have the camera in hand because the camera sells it. This camera, I literally walk with it like this when I'm walking down the street. And this camera sells, may I make your portrait? If they ask why, I say, for you. I want to give it to you. I'm photographing people who are interesting looking or cool, or I just want to document people on the street, and I would love to get you a copy. And they often think I'm going to give them a email with a picture, and I meet them with a print in a frame, and they love it. And they love the fact that it's something that exists. It doesn't cost them anything. I rarely get anybody ever asking me about it, is there any cost? And recently it was funny because twice in a row, two people said, do we have to pay? And I'm like, no, you don't have to pay. I'm making these because it's my art. This is what I do. I work as a commercial photographer, and when I'm not working, I want to go out and make portraits. So, Bob Patterson Street Photography Magazine, there's a podcast that'll be out on the 23rd, and the magazine will feature me on the 23rd of June this month. So, take a look at it, and it'll be a good feature. I talk about how I approach it, how I approach people, how I try to get, 10 or so photographs that are usable out of a roll of 12. The only reason I don't get all 12 is because sometimes I'll shoot 2 if I see somebody blinked or if I want to change an expression. But the goal is not to get one photo, it's to get a lot of photos. I don't photograph things that don't look like they will work. I don't photograph setups and then don't bother to compose them well. I do every one of them as if this is a gallery show, this belongs in a frame, this is going to be one that's going to be shown. I don't photograph unless I know it's one that has a chance of working and being used in the show. So my Rolleiflexers collective is a group of photographers from around the world who photograph with a Rolleiflex. I put all of my photos on there, and it's easy because I can just show the person I'm photographing the Rolleiflexers gallery, and they can see other work and say, oh, I see. And I always have a link to that. I even have in my phone a QR code, so I can just pull up the QR code, they can tap, and they can right away go to my Rolleiflexers page and see my work. And it's a way for them to walk away with a way to be able to contact me. I have a way to contact them and get them a print. But the Street Photography Magazine is going to be a nice feature, and I really appreciate Bob going out and reaching out to do the podcast and to do the feature, and it's an honor. I get to do my work and I get to share it in a forum that's such a well-respected magazine. So thanks, Bob. All right, that's today's photography talk. Hey, if you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Thanks to all my supporters. I appreciate you. I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's the good light.